They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Shalom, family. Good to see you all here. Hope you're doing well. Well, we're going to talk about Donald Trump's State of the Union. I've been looking at some of the reviews online, and it's pretty mixed. But one of the consistent things I'm hearing, it was boring. It was, first of all, I can't believe this old ass man babbled for 1 hour and 40 minutes. That is way too long. I don't believe a State of the Union address should be no more than 1 hour max. But going on and on for an hour and 40 minutes of Donald Trump's voice, hell no. Hell no. I know I would never have gotten through the entire thing. And just looking at some of the clips, it was interesting. Some interesting things happened, and we're going to see those things. But for the most part, they said he literally talked about nothing. It was not one defining moment, that you would highlight. It was nothing. Nothing. But I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. But I am the one thing I am interested in hearing is the ratings, because there was so many people saying they were going to boycott it. I just want to see where the ratings are. That would be interesting to find out. But yeah, there's no way I can live through 1 hour and 40 minutes of Donald Trump. Hell no. Hell no. Okay, y'all. Let me share my screen. All right, y'all. Please give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Thank you.
And we will never go back to where we were just a very short time ago. We're not going back. Today, our border is secure. Thank you.
Says black people aren't apes. That is the sign. Doing Texas Democrat Al Green. But we aren't apes.
And we will never go back to where we were just a very short time ago. We're not going back. Today, our border is secure. Thank you. These people are crazy. I'm telling you, they're crazy. We're lucky we have a country with people like this. Democrats are destroying our country, but we've stopped it just in the nick of time, didn't we? All Democrats, every single one of them, voted against these really important and very necessary, massive tax cuts. And then just 4 days ago, an unfortunate ruling from the United States Supreme Court. It just came down. Very unfortunate ruling. But the good news is that almost all countries and corporations want to keep the deal that they already made, right, Scott? Knowing that the legal power that I, as president, have to make a new deal could be far worse for them, and therefore they will continue to work along the same successful path that we had negotiated before the Supreme Court's unfortunate involvement. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens. They want to cheat. They have cheated, and their policy is so bad that the only way they can get elected is to cheat. And we're going to stop it. We have to stop it. You should be ashamed of yourself not standing up. You should be ashamed of yourself. That is why I'm also asking you to end deadly sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords, murderers all over our country, they're blocking the removal of these people out of our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
What did you think about that moment when the president was asking Democrats to stand up for American citizens during that part of the speech when he was talking about immigration and immigration enforcement efforts?
I think you can agree with the what, like standing up for American citizens, but I disagree with the how. And so it's always about how do we bring our country together, but not stand on the backs of others. There's thinly veiled racist language, anti-immigrant language in what he was asking. And that was uncomfortable.
So I just watched Donald Trump's State of the Union speech, so you don't have to, and man, was that boring. I mean, he set the record for the longest State of the Union speech ever, over an hour and 40 minutes. And through that entire time, he said a whole lot of nothing. I mean, he just straight up lied and said that the country is hot, everybody's doing so well, everybody's so happy, when every single piece of data we have on that proves that it's not true. I mean, you can look at his polling numbers. If everything was so great and he was doing so well, Americans wouldn't have a 34% approval rate of Donald Trump. There was zero mention of the Epstein files, because of course not. Donald Trump doesn't want to talk about that topic. He wants to go as far away as possible from it. There were some military heroes that were honored, and that's great. But Donald Trump was trying to make it seem like their bravery is his bravery. I mean, he's not in the military. He's a draft dodger, did it 5 times. It was a lot of rambling, a lot of incoherence. It's like 2 hours of my life that I'll never get back, unfortunately. So if you didn't watch the speech, you really didn't miss anything. And I can promise you that much. You'll probably see Republicans talking about it as if it's the best speech ever, but you didn't miss anything.
At his State of the Union address, Donald Trump just called Americans losers.
People are asking me, please, 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 Mr. President, we're winning too much. We're not used to winning in our country. Until you came along, we're just always losing, but now we're winning too much.
No, Donald, you're the loser, and America's sick and tired of your lies.
So I just watched Trump's almost 2-hour-long speech. And while I would love to call out Al Green's sign that said black people aren't apes, which got him thrown out, or Ilhan Omar screaming that his administration killed American citizens, most people miss that. So it's not worth it. See, those people were too busy wondering why orange juice was 28% more expensive than it was when Trump took office, why coffee was up 30% since Trump took office, why ground beef was up 15%, why electricity was up over 10%, and why clothing was up 10 to 15%, all while the average person's wages rose 3 to 4% best case scenario. See, Trump spent almost 2 hours whining about Democrats, cherry-picking stories about the Olympics and American heroes, and overall whining about how hard his job is. But the average person is asking if AI is going to steal their job this year. They're asking if they're going to get a pay raise this year. They're asking if they're going to be able to afford college for their kids or get a decent loan on a car that can keep their family safe. But those are not things Trump can understand. Those are not things Trump can relate to, because he's never bought a car. He's never been to a grocery store. He's never had to ask his boss for a pay raise, because when Donald Trump was born, he had $400 million from his dad. Donald Trump is not and will never be a regular American. And for that exact reason, Donald Trump will never be able to tell us the true State of the Union.
Donald Trump's State of the Union just wrapped up. It was an absolute disaster. It was a fascist performative mess. He was putting people to sleep. It was the longest State of the Union in history. It lasted more than an hour and 45 minutes. It almost looked like it was half empty. Over 70 members were boycotting the State of the Union. They were attending the Midas Touch Network People State of the Union, which was an incredible event. Within the first 80 minutes to 90 minutes or so, we had over 2 million views. And that number just keeps on rising. Let's talk about just what a disastrous State of the Union Donald Trump had. This is exactly why we counter-programmed it. But I want to give you the lowlights and save you that hour and 41 minutes and just show you what an absolute mess it was. I guess the first thing I want to show you is that you had Howard Lutnick, as Shadow of Ezra said, who visited Epstein's pedophile island with his children. He shows up to the State of the Union with absolutely no shame and all smiles. Here, play this clip right here. You can see a lot of empty seats right there. Compare that to what it looked like at the Midas Touch People State of the Union event. Donald Trump then talked about how all Democrats voted against his tax cuts for the rich, his tax cuts for the billionaires, and then all the Democrats cheered because they did vote against his tax cuts for the rich, which have crushed regular Americans. Here, play this clip.
All Democrats, every single one of them, voted against these really important and very necessary massive tax cuts.
And there was exactly one individual who clapped when Donald Trump said that the Dow broke 50 thou. And I think it was Pam Bondi. Play this clip.
Now it's just taken off. One of the primary reasons for our country's stunning economic turnaround, the biggest in history, where the Dow Jones broke 50,000 4 years ahead of schedule, and the S&P hit 7,000, where it wasn't supposed to do it for many years, were tariffs. I used these tariffs, took in hundreds of billions of dollars to make great deals for our country.
And then Trump kept on just yelling, "We're the hottest ever." Here, play this clip.
A short time ago, we were a dead country. Now we are the hottest country anywhere in the world, the hottest.
And then he just kept on saying, "We've won. We're winning so much. You don't know what to do with all of the winning. You're all winning." Here, play this clip.
Our country is winning again. In fact, we're winning so much that we really don't know what to do about it. People are asking me, please, 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 Mr. President, we're winning too much. We can't take it anymore. We're not used to winning in our country. Until you came along, we're just always losing, but now we're winning too much.
In his speech tonight, the president did what he always does. He lied, he scapegoated, and he distracted. And he offered no real solutions to our nation's pressing challenges, so many of which he is actively making worse. He tries to divide us. He tries to enrage us, to pit us against one another, neighbor against neighbor. And sometimes he succeeds. And so you have to ask, who benefits from his rhetoric, his policies, his actions, the short list of laws he's pushed through this Republican Congress? Somebody must be benefiting. He's enriching himself, his family, his friends. The scale of the corruption is unprecedented. There's the cover-up of the Epstein files, the crypto scams, cozying up to foreign princes for airplanes and billionaires for ballrooms, putting his name and face on buildings all over our nation's capital. This is not what our founders envisioned, not by a long shot.
Okay. So that's really it. As you can see, he spoke about absolutely nothing. In fact, his speech, in my opinion, sound more like him at a rally, and it didn't sound very presidential. "Oh, we're winning so much, we're winning," it sounds like one of his rally speeches. And he did not offer the nation anything. Not, "We're gonna do something about the inflation," or giving us some heads up on when we're gonna get relief from a lot of these things that are really a lot of Americans. He didn't talk about jobs. There are so many Americans out of work, and they already admitted there's not enough jobs to go around out here. He didn't talk about jobs at all. Things he really should have been addressing, he didn't. He just spoke about a bunch of nothing. Nothing that's gonna help a living soul. So, no, you didn't miss a thing. I have not, maybe MAGA and the Republicans are talking about how great it was. It really wasn't. I watched a few minutes of it, and I have to tell you, it took all that I had to just sit there for those few minutes that I did. It was not hitting at all. Mm, mm, mm. Well, he needs to why didn't he talk about, Jeffrey Epstein? I'm serious. He should have spoke about Jeffrey Epstein, what's going on with the Epstein files. But, yeah, he should have addressed things that were way more important than what he addressed. I think when people wait for the State of the Union, you're waiting to hear things they're working on, things he's planning on doing, and so on and so forth. He really didn't say anything. One of many ancestral shadows, the orange man out here trying to go WFN, what's that? STN? Okay. Well, all I got to say as far as what he said, I mean, it was what was it, a bunch of dementia babble? I just don't know the point he was trying to make. And it's almost like he got up there and just took up a bunch of time saying absolutely nothing. But thank you for your support from my channel. I just don't see the point in you even making the address if you're not gonna say anything. I mean, and look at all the health care out here. A lot of people are complaining about their premiums going up. He didn't address that either. Anything that's really important in people's lives, he said nothing. I don't understand. I don't know. I don't know, y'all. Mhm. So all I got to say is I'm glad I didn't waste my time last night, and I'm glad many of you didn't waste your time sitting around listening to him. I'm sure you have much better things to do with your time anyway. Mhm. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, so there you go. So I have John Davison from BAFTA and BBC, the awards, the one that has Tourette syndrome. He has since come out and he apologized to Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo. He did give an apology. He said the reason why he gave the apology was because he was upset with how white people were addressing black people online. You know, they were saying things like, well, he got Tourette's syndrome. Get over it. He's not going to apologize. Why should he apologize? Get over it. He said he did not like that and he did not feel that way. And he felt those white people that were making those kind of comments were racist. And he agreed that he should apologize. So he went on social media and he was actually reading what people were saying about the awards. And he said he did not want those white people online that were writing those nasty things to black people to represent him. So he decided to come on out and issue an apology. So we will talk about that, and that will be at 3:45. So y'all, I will see you then. Please enjoy the rest of your afternoon. you know, and as far as Donald Trump's State of the Union, I think a year from now, nobody's going to even remember this babbling nonsense that this man did last night. Shalom, family.